Hello, everyone, and welcome to the McCray's Backyard Barbecue and Seafood Super Bowl Studio. Yay! Tonight, we are bringing on the man, the barbecue king, Mr. Derrick McCray, the owner of McCray's Backyard Barbecue and Seafood. So, without delay, welcome Derrick McCray, all the way from Los Angeles, California, who's out there for Super Bowl. What is it? LVI?
Yeah.
That's 56.
Yes.
Fantastic. I'm glad to see you, Derrick. This is your 16th trip to the
Yes.
Super Bowl. Now, who gets invited back to anything
Yes.
15, 16 times? So I'm so proud of you. And also, I want to let everybody know that tonight or today, I am I am Team McCray's in the McCray's Backyard Barbecue and Seafood Super Bowl studio.
Yes. That's beautiful.
Okay. Thank you, Derek. Okay, so I wanted to bring you on. First of all, so super proud of you for all of your accomplishments, especially being a Riviera Beach resident. You know how I feel about Riviera Beach. And
Yes, sir.
then carrying South Florida, period, to represent us at the Super Bowl. It's an amazing feat. I know it takes a lot of hard work. And so I'm going to let you start out by talking about the beginning of the McCray's establishment, your mom, your dad, your Uncle Harvey from the very beginning. So let's start there and then we're going to bring it up to present day and start talking about the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's great. Well, thanks for inviting us and giving us so much love and praise. Deborah, we want to give all praises to God, to our Lord and
Absolutely.
Savior Jesus Christ first for allowing us to have such an amazing opportunity and a run like this. Like you said, it's not many people who get 16 years in a row working at a high level and being consistent, with what we've been doing and being recognized on a national and worldwide stage as we do, coming from our little hometown of Riviera Beach, Florida. But God is so amazing that He could take with something small and make it huge. You know what I mean? He said, "Despise not small beginnings. Be faithful over a few, He'll make you what rule over many." So a lot of those things I take into heart, when I think about the amazing run that we've had. So it's not of my own device, but it's of His device that allowed us to do what we do and showcase this talent among the world. You know what I mean? And so I'm excited just knowing that He's blessed us in a way that we could showcase Riviera Beach, we could showcase Palm Beach County, we could showcase the state of Florida, and be recognized worldwide. It ain't about us; it's about all of us. Because I'm a product of Riviera Beach, so it's my
Mhm.
hometown that I'm always want to represent well.
Right.
Just like those professional athletes come before us, like the Devin Hesters,
Oh
the Anthony
yes.
Carters, and
Yes.
with all those professional guys that represented Riviera Beach well. So we could
Lamar Parrish. Don't
Lamar
forget Lamar Parrish.
we got to
Yes.
give Lamar. Otis Anderson.
Yes.
Those guys, the Super Bowl MVP was Otis Anderson,
Yes, he was. Yes.
So we have to think about all the young guys like the kid that's playing for Miami right now, the quarterback. Oh my God, he'll kill me. Uh, Brissett.
Let me see if I can. Oh, Jacoby. Okay. Yes, Jacoby
And all
Brissett.
those, the Abe Elams, the of the
Yeah.
world, his brother, there's so many talented guys that come out of Riviera Beach that's playing, playing in the league. And then we can't forget about Derrick Harper, basketball. We had
Yes. Yes.
baseball players, and so we had a rich history. And even like all our guys in the Glades that's been doing have done so many great things. Palm Beach County as a whole, when you
Yeah.
look at all these areas, we've been such a prime location for some of the best talent in the world when it comes to sports. Especially
Absolutely.
on the football field. Some of these guys is running track, young guys that's running track and things. So I'm thankful for all that. I thank God for my father, Herman McCray, and
Yes.
Dan Calloway, and all those guys that brought us up and taught us the little skills that we learned as little boys, at Tate Recreation, now which is Dan Calloway Park. I think for John Cartwright, those guys at Westwood Elementary, when we was going undefeated and traveling and doing things as a kid. So those guys instilled that competitive uh, behavior and gave us fight and taught us about the will to win. You know what I mean?
Right.
Those are things that have stuck with me all these years. And I heard someone actually from my football coach at Florida A&M University. He always said the will to win isn't as great as the will to want to prepare to win. So
Right.
it's taking a lot of preparation, a lot of things. You've been on the front line several times, Deborah, and
Yes.
putting these projects together. So you know the intense preparation that it takes
Ooh.
doing this and getting together. So it's not just a small feat; it's a monumental feat that people don't understand what goes into making these projects happen, and then
Yeah.
being and working at a very high level
Exactly.
same time, you know. So and I credit that to my parents,
Mhm.
Uncle Harvey and those guys that came before me, my grandma, Mr. Albert,
Yeah,
that's
that's your Uncle Harvey there from what was it, Harvey's Barbecue and
you. We started on Ninth and Tamron back
right.
in the 30s, and and my father was born in 1941.
Mhm.
Grandfather died, I think, in 1948. His father. And so my
Okay.
father went to Uncle Harvey asking for a job. He said he got to help take care of his mom.
Mhm.
And Uncle Harvey was so moved by my father saying at 7 years old that he needed to make a few something to contribute to the household since my grandfather had passed. And
Okay.
Uncle Harvey took my dad up under his wing and taught him the business. That's how it all started. And Harvey's was one of the best barbecue places
Now
during
I heard nothing but great reviews from
the 30s,
about Harvey's. Yes.
the 50s, and up into the 60s, when he finally retired. But he had a long run as one of the best barbecue places in South Florida during that time, and in the state of Florida. So we've
Right.
had a great lineage of barbecue. And and my father kind of came along after that. After he went to the service, and my mom and and dad, they teamed.
Mm-mm.
They started cooking ribs and doing seafood out of the house when my Uncle Harvey kind of retired and sat down. And that's where the backyard barbecue came from, because we would have friends and family would come over on Friday and Saturday nights, and he would be in the backyard barbecuing, and my mom would be in the kitchen frying fish and shrimp and doing comforters, and they making pigeon peas and rice and doing things and selling it right out of the house in the late 60s and into the early 70s. And I was a little boy, and I remember all those things, when I was coming up. And I kind of was brought up in the household where we did a lot of cooking. Mom would cook every night, or my dad would cook, and that's how I learned the trade, as a little boy. When my father first started out, he he started out with the Ebony Lounge, which is now no longer here. It was on Old Dixie. That was the first little kitchen that he had,
Mm-mm.
was the Ebony Lounge. And I used to be there as a little boy. I think that's why I love music and in the night clothes, because as a little boy, I was in the window watching them dance, the Soul King and the Wounded Man, the DJs back then, and they doing the robot and all that stuff. And we had a little window. We looking through the window at these people dance and do stuff, and we had the barbecue, the chicken wings, the chitlins, and all the stuff going on. It was almost like a full restaurant during that time at the Ebony. And then he also was doing food for Snook's Lounge, which it's a
Oh,
staple,
okay.
which was a
Okay.
staple in Riviera Beach too. It's no longer there
Right.
on 8th Street,
Right.
which is now was that Martin Luther King.
Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard.
And he did that for a while. So we had both of them going, Snoops and the Ebony Lounge, and and I can remember working as a little boy, washing dishes, doing things, and I started picking up stuff. Didn't realize I was picking it up, becoming a prodigy of the food business then.
Right.
And so once he left and he went for something a little bigger, we ended up going down to West Palm Beach, which was called Green's Grill. And that's where my cousin, Connie Green, Graham Green, uh, owned that place on Fifth and what's that? Fifth and Sapodilla in West Palm Beach.
Mm-hmm.
And my father's passion was always the barbecue, but we had a soul food menu there. You know,
Okay.
we had the meatloaf, the smothered pork chops, and this, the breakfast in the morning. You know, two or three waitresses, and that's when the black community was still uh, somewhat coagulated together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they would patronize the businesses in the local area during that time before integration really started setting in, you know.
Right.
And people would, you know, people had shoe shops, they had doctors' offices, dentist
Mm-hmm.
offices, they had restaurants, you know, black banks. We had a lot of different things during that time that no longer exist now. That was
Right.
during the late 60s and early 70s up until the mid 70s, you know,
Right.
and then it became almost like an obsolete thing for black businesses to survive. It's just like once we started integration, people start going to the malls and different things start happening, and you can see the decline of black business. But anyway, to say that, so I worked at Green's Grill with my father when I was in like, I think I was like fourth, fifth grade during that time, or you know, actually getting ready to go into junior high school. I would get up on Saturday mornings and go to work, washing pots, running the cash register, making orders, you know, taking orders. So I kind of learned the trade without even knowing I was learning. I was pretty good at it. And my father would even go and do shopping and leave me there with my grandmother. I'm taking orders and getting the plates out, setting tables and doing all kinds of things, washing dishes. Didn't realize that I was being groomed for something like this. And
Mm-hmm.
so we did that up until 1976. I can
Gotcha.
remember that. And my father said he was tired of doing he really wanted to go into his passion, which was straight barbecue. Because he was
Right.
known for barbecue, but he was doing full menus during that time. And he found a little place on Old Dixie Highway, uh, 2717, Old Dixie Highway. I never forget that.
Yeah.
Right a block from the two spot and and right across from Life Liquor. That's where we would sit at, right there. And he turned that place around. There used to be Big Jellies back in the day. Big Jelly had the ice cream trucks that was running around, and it was selling ice cream, but that was his little commissary where my
Mm-hmm.
father put McCray's barbecue there. And that's where we kind of took off, and you know, we had people coming through. And before that, let me retrogress a little bit, because we had people like Isaac Hayes and James
Yes.
Brown and Jesse Jackson and Muhammad Ali and famous authors coming through to visit my father, because we can't forget that he was a strong political rights activist in the
Right.
of Riviera Beach, Palm Beach County as a whole. And so when the civil rights movement was going on, he was one of those strong leaders that when they would come to the state, they would always come visit my father, Medgar
Mhm.
Evers, Charles Evers, and all those kind of people would come down and talk with my dad. You know, Rosa Parks. You
Yeah, I
know,
saw a picture of your dad with Rosa Parks.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Rosa and my dad were very close, and you know, she was one of the leaders, or the one of the person that's really sparked the movement
Mm-hmm.
during that time uh, for us to get equality. You know, on what the when they did the Montgomery bus boycott during that time, when everybody
Right.
just said you weren't catching the bus, they walked for a whole year because they arrested her because she wouldn't want to go to the back of the bus.
Right.
So she became famous for that, and her and my father became very, very close friends, you know, and they would often talk and strategize and do things, you know. Uh, so, you know, and I remember a lot of the the big uh, uh, entertainers like James Brown, him and Mary B and all my father them would get together and talk about how they could make change, because you know, Black and I'm Proud and all those things came from James Brown, because he was definitely one of the leaders in movement in that movement during that time, and he wasn't afraid, and he
Right.
stood strong, you know, when it came to that. Isaac Hayes. Isaac Hayes was really close to my dad during that time when he was doing the tours and everything. So I had a chance as a kid to really see uh, black excellence at its
Right.
highest when black folks really stuck together and it was trying to do some things. You know, even with the whole city of Riviera Beach, my father, Dan Calloway, Bobby Brooks, Mr. Moultrie, Mr. Taylor, Jim Jones, Mr. Jones, list goes on of people. Bobby, I think I said Mayor Bobby Brooks and those
Yes.
people then changed the whole trajectory of Riviera Beach when I was a kid because I worked on those voters campaign with my mom and dad and what was that lady name who was the city man was the city clerk Reed, Miss Reed, I think it
Mhm.
was Ida Reed. She's no longer here, but Miss Reed and all those guys, Malcolm Cunningham and all those people back then, was there present when Judge Rogers and all those guys. I remember all those things taking place when we was fighting for equality. See, my father was a strong man. He fought for civil rights for us because we didn't have traffic lights in
Right.
on the west side. We didn't have garbage pickup. We had roads that was level paved. We wasn't getting fair treatment from the city of River Beach during that time. And he fought for all those things. Even
Right.
when they had the riots at Kennedy, him, Dan Calloway, Clark Martin, and some of those guys calmed those kids down in 1971 when we had the riot when Sheriff Heitman and all of them went to putting all kind of tear gas and doing kind of things, riling them up and
Right.
on some stuff. See, we forget about that rich history
Right.
that made Riviera Beach where it's at today. And it's sad that a lot of that camaraderie no longer really exists. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? From what was there. And so I learned and I grew up in that atmosphere. Even Buckethead Hall, you know, there with my father,
Right.
doing
That's my dad's nickname for
yeah,
those of you who
yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
That's
One
James
of my
Hall, my dad.
James Hall, one of my most favorite people. He was one of the first black officers and everything here too. So he was in that struggle with my father because
Right.
me, Gary, and Carrie played football together as little boys.
Right.
They a couple years older than me, but I was on that same team with those guys, the black team.
Right.
So with your father, my father, and Holy Joe, and some of those guys brought out a lot in us. Mr. Ron, Mr. Big Ron. I don't know if you remember him, but he was very
Mhm.
instrumental back then in helping us develop. Along with you can't speak no more than praise for Mr. Calloway putting all that together,
Right.
Buster McGann, and all those
Right.
guys. But we had some tumultuous times back
Right.
in the 70s, early 70s, and late 60s, all the way through up into the 80s, transforming the city of Riviera Beach to where it is now. So a lot of that stuff I grew up with, and I understand, how things was going there. But like I said, I was blessed to be while my father was out there fighting. I'm blessed to have him as my father and my
Right.
mother as my mother because when he was out there fighting, me and my grandma was in the barbecue stand.
Right.
So he was
Keeping
out
the business going.
keeping the business going. But let me go back even a little bit further than that because I can remember when we used to get bomb threats because of my father.
Really?
That's right. We got a few bomb threats, when I was a kid, from the Ku Klux Klan and everybody. They were trying to, intimidate my father because of the stance that he was taking on integration, this and that, and fighting for black folks. They didn't like that, And one day I answered the phone and the guy say he called me the little N word. Let me speak to your pappy. And
Mm.
I'm like, what? And my mama snatched the phone. Then he said it's a bomb in y'all yard. And my mama started screaming. And my dad got the phone, and they ushered me and my brother Demetrius because Herman wasn't here yet. And we
Mhm.
went over to my aunt Cynthia's house.
Mm.
And we stayed there for a few days. And then a lot of the guys that was in the Imperials Men Club at the time stayed at my dad's house, at the house on S Avenue, because they wasn't sure what was going on. So a lot of those guys stuck together, they armed up a little bit, and a couple strange cars kept coming through, and I know one time they said if this same car come back through here, then he might not make it out of it. Well, I don't want to say what they said, but
Yeah, I
it
get
was
it.
like no. And so we lived through that. We lived through the nooses that Bob Moultrie used to get in the mail, because they didn't like that. That
Yeah,
had transformed from an all-white council to a predominantly black council. It transformed
right,
to a black city. So
right.
there was a lot of stuff going on back then that people don't know the fight that those people fought coming into Riviera Beach. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, for us to be who we are now, being the only black port city in America.
Right. Which is why I did what I did with my book, Rare Beach Moments, which, by the way, Derrick is in the first volume, to preserve that history so that we won't forget it. The street names and everything. I hope that they are able to remain. There was talk at one time for removing those names.
Mm.
But we have to preserve our history so that we won't forget and
Right.
and forget about where we came from, that we come from greatness and the people who
Yes,
have paved the way, your mom, your dad, Mr. Calloway, and a lot of other people, the struggle that they went through. And what we're not going to do is just give it away.
right,
So,
absolutely, and it was a lot of those people that stuck together during that time. But all that to say is that they groomed me for a time such as this because I didn't know that I was going to be doing Super Bowls and doing all this kind of stuff. I had
mhm,
no clue what God had in store for me, but that's my history. You know what I mean?
that's what molded you into who you are, so that you were strong enough and smart enough to endure things along your journey.
Yeah,
And I've never seen a person of greater faith than you. I know I would have given up. I'd be like, y'all just have your way. But you were like, no, I'm going to stick to this. This is my history. This is my family, and I'm not going to give up. And look at where you started, and look at where you are today. And I wanted to kind of transition it into how you got started. Your dad established McCray's BBQ, right?
right,
Barbecue
right,
in 1977.
right.
So I want to move forward a little bit and talk about how you got McCray's backyard barbecue started.
Well, I went through some rough times. When I left here, I graduated from Palm Beach Gardens High School. And when I left, I went to Florida A&M University. I walked onto that football team, and then when my dad took me and I made the team, he said, "Well, you got two things you can do. You can get your books and play football, or you could run wild and play football." So I chose to run wild for a little bit while I was up there, and I got off track for a little while, and but I had some rough times, and it took a lot to get back on track. You know what I mean? And I felt like the prodigal son because I know my parents didn't raise me to be all over the place and be buck wild and doing all the stuff that I was doing. I think I was just showing my royal oak. So I'm always known as the prodigal child, that came back and asked for forgiveness and didn't never look back again because I saw
Right.
where I was wrong, and I know that my parents didn't bring me up like that. I lived a brief stint of little drugs and little crime here and there, trying to be like everybody else, but that wasn't what was in me. God didn't have it in him. He allowed me to see certain things to prepare me for a time such as this, that I would have some street sense along with some book sense because I did do pretty good at Florida A&M. I mean, I could have did
Right.
better if I'd applied
Right.
myself a lot better, but I was a pretty decent student coming through high school and elementary and junior high. I was always an honor roll student, so it wasn't that I didn't have the capacity to learn because I think I picked that trait up from my mother, who was magna cum laude at
Right.
Florida Atlantic University, and then she was always a scholar from
Mhm.
that point on, with getting her master's specialist and working on her doctorate degree and her law degree and things like that, and even with medicine. So she was pretty smart, so I picked up a little bit of that, you know,
Mhm.
I picked up a lot of hard work from my father, some toughness and some things that I had to go through to be able to get where I'm at uh, uh, today.
Right.
But all that to say, once I got past those little things, and I found myself. Well, God kind of tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Hey, man, what you doing? I'm going this
Mm-hmm.
way." And he said, "No, you're gonna go this way. Because if I went the way that I was gonna go," he said, "you'll surely die today." And it was such an eerie feeling that I was like, "Whoa, this
Right.
really is something." And then I really knew God was God because He came Himself. He ain't sent nobody else. He came. You know what I mean?
Right.
He came. He's like, "Listen, man, come here." He ain't saying he came. Well, he came with his boys ready. If you do something, we're gonna take your head off right here. So I followed his instructions,
Right.
and I went and got myself together, for a couple months, and just trying to learn how to change my way of thinking and my behavior so that I could follow what he had intended for me. And that was some 25 years ago, that I made that change to say, well, okay, I'm not going to live this certain lifestyle anymore because that's not for me, and that I was going to humble myself and honor my father and mother.
Right.
But I didn't want them to see me like that because they lived impeccable, straight life. They weren't into drugs and crime and doing stuff. They lived by the book. They did good stuff, and that was the illusion that I had, thinking that I had to try to be like everybody else in the streets, doing this and that, and living that big lie that's being lived today. You know what I
Right.
mean? And it's such an illusion. And when you find out that it's nothing, sometimes it's too late for some people. But I thank
Right.
God He gave me enough time to recover and get myself back on the right track. Him helping me get back on the right track, because I don't want to take no credit, but him inspiring me to get back on the right track to do what I do today. So I worked at a few little nightclubs, did some things before I really got into the business. And I saw that my parents was really getting older. They was getting sickly. Things was going on. And I got fired from my job because of some of my
You
brothers.
got fired? I
Yeah.
never knew you got fired from
I didn't get,
somewhere.
I got fired because
Or was it quit fire? Was it quit fire? You said I
no, I
quit, but
got
they said you fired.
fired because I was like the assistant general manager over like 5 or 6 nightclubs.
Oh, okay.
And I had my brother working for me, and he got into a fight.
Oh, okay.
But he was security, and the
Uh,
guys hit him in the head with a bottle, and the guys
oh,
didn't
wow.
to want him to sue because he wasn't gonna get in there. He's gonna cause more legal stuff, and they would pay for whatever. And he still chose to kind of be a little greedy. I said, "Man, don't do
Oh,
this." And
boy.
so the big bosses said, "Well, we're gonna have to let you go because it's a conflict of interest of
Right.
what's going on." And so they fired me.
Okay.
I had a little bit of money saved up. I had my son Derrick staying with me during that time, and it was like, wow, what am I gonna do next? I ended up borrowing $100 from my mom and a grill from my dad, and I asked my dad, "Well, Dad, is it okay if I start barbecuing? Because I know there wasn't enough room at the little barbecue spot
Right.
on Old Dixie for me to be there. He just it wasn't enough. My cousin Walt, who just passed, God bless him, he was there working in there with my dad, and some of the other family members. Yeah, that's big Walt in the
Yeah.
back. Yeah,
In the
what's up,
back.
Walt?
Yes. Rest in peace.
Yeah, that's Walt. Yeah, and so I asked my father, was it okay? He said, yeah. So we went down in front of Diamond Strip Club, and we set up one grill. And I had $100. I bought a couple boxes of ribs and got some wood from my dad. He sat down there with me in his little lawn chair. That's how much he coached me for about 3 or 4, about a month or so on how
Mm-hmm.
to do this, how to do that. And then he said, "You got it, son." And he let me go, and he let me fly, and I appreciated that because he could have said, "No, I ain't doing it, no," but he was very open and generous with the knowledge of barbecue. He knew I had the business sense but I needed the cooking sense to go with it. But I knew how to cook, but then his technique and different things I needed to learn. And he taught me those things, and I really didn't realize that I knew all this stuff because I was around it so much that it was just became natural that this is what you do. I've been watching this, and he helped me perfect the craft of the barbecue business, you know. And then I always had to give him love and respect for. I always wanted McCray's to be McCray, McCray, and McCray. He could have got business partners and did everything else, but he always wanted his sons to take the business and run with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because that's how he set it up, and he taught me the art form.
Yes.
Of barbecue. It wasn't just out there grilling; it was an art form.
Right.
You know, he taught me the science of what it takes to be the best in the world. See, that's how he was. Because I could hear him telling Dan Calloway, and he'll say, Calloway say, Moose, so they tell you the best in the world.
Yeah.
They were Rocky. I know I'm the best in the world. And then Mr. Calloway said, well, how you know you're the best? He said, because people from all over the world they come tell me I'm the best in the world. I have been all over the world, but the people come in and tell me these the best meals they ever had. So I assume that I'm the best in the world. So that's how my dad was with that. And he was a master at this because he learned it from my Uncle Harvey. So he learned very well as a kid, just like I learned as a kid to do what we're doing, you know. And once
Derrick, I remember him. I don't know if it was on video or through talking to him, but I do remember him saying that the people with the train would stop the train right in front of McCray's on Old Dixie. When you stop that train, holding up traffic so they could go in there and get barbecue from McCray's barbecue.
The guys going up to Jacksonville, they coming from Miami, would pull the freight train over right there in front of the barbecue place, and leave the train there, and get off the train, cross the tracks, have my dad to fix them 3 or 4 slabs of ribs, take them and get back on the train, crank the train up and keep moving. That's what they would do. I've seen it several times. I can't believe these people stopping this train, the big freight train with the engine. You can't do that now, but then that's what they did. And they would stop it. And I was there with it when they did that. I was like, whoa, okay. And it was natural to me, because I grew up around it, so it wasn't no big deal. But once you think about it, it's a really big deal, that's what people would do, and he would have people come in from Taiwan, from halfway around the world. They come, when the guy used to go to Orlando, and when he go to Orlando, he would drive all the way down, pick up like 30, 40 slabs, ship them back to Taiwan with the sauce and everything, and go over there with the rib. And he would do that like once or twice a year. And I remember that. I remember these guys just coming from Australia. They would come because they was barbecue connoisseurs, and they would come by my dad's restaurant and talk about it. Then we had some people from Germany, a couple guys from Russia and Britain, and then that's when I knew, ooh, Dad got it going on. They love this stuff, And then I knew then that what he was saying and how he felt about it, it was true. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I think I'm just a remnant of what he would have been doing in this day and time, probably much more than what I would have been doing. Because that's how good it was. But the day and time is different from there. But his besides his calling and cooking ribs and being a barbecue pit master, it was more the politics. He was more like the David, and I'm more like the Solomon side. You know what I mean? I was doing some things, of when you're comparing fathers and sons, because I've taken what he's left for me and expanded it further than what he did, and the same thing that Solomon did after David. So those are some things that has driven me all these years. Mm-hmm. It's just his teaching, my mother's teaching of education and being who she is, and her professionalism. I mean, her astute professionalism at all times. Very graceful woman, very loving and kind person, Lillian McCray. Well, the time, and I love her. I love my dad, So what I do is in honor of them anyway. It ain't really for me. It's because this is what they taught me, and to keep their name alive is why I work so hard. to be able to preserve the legacy which he wanted to see. He wanted us to keep going. He wanted to stop when he was gone.
Right. Right.
He was with me every step of the way when we fought for that property. You was there,
Yes, he was. Came to the meetings and everything
everything.
and
He was right.
spoke, and he
Yeah,
was right
and got
there.
mad. They get mad. You know,
Yeah,
he gonna let him have it. You know,
he
and
did.
he-
He
when
did.
yeah, and when I was able to, come up with the money, he the one came up with the first bit of money
Mhm.
with some guys to help me purchase that property. And see, people say I own the property. No, I did.
Right.
That was my first purchase. It was $500,000 or better that I had to pay to get
Right.
that property there, and then the people there didn't like it. You know what
So
I mean?
there, let's talk about when you got ready to open on 45th Street, that trailer that was there that the other people owned, and then you took that
Yeah.
trailer
Mm-hmm.
and turned it into McCray's. It was McCray's 2 backyard barbecue at the
Yes.
time.
We had it.
From working out of that what we call the shack,
Right. That's right.
but it's really a trailer.
Yeah, it was Shaq. We still with.
And the amount of traffic that would come through
Yeah.
there, especially for the Super Bowl. I
Yeah.
remember one Sunday I was working, and this is why I started calling you world famous Derrick McCray. There was a bus full of Chinese people that pulled up, and you happened to be there that day when they came. And when you got out of the truck, they came over to you to get your autograph. You
Yeah.
probably don't remember that, but I'll never forget it. It was a tour
Yeah.
bus full
Yes.
of people
I
from
remember that.
China that came to that yellow shack on
Yeah.
45th Street, McCray's Barbecue. And when
That's
Derek got out of his truck, they came over to him to get his autograph.
right.
Or they came over to you.
Yeah, they did. Uh, I not only that, it's just been amazing. What the $100 has done to even get us there. Because when we got there, you talk about Kathy and Bob. You remember
Yes, I
Kathy?
remember it. I remember that blue trailer they had parked over there in
Yeah.
Magnolia
See,
Park.
what happened when I was in this little class, incubator class, right across the street, and Kathy was in the class with me there, and I was just doing some business stuff, trying to open up a little record company because I had the Hollywood stuff still in my blood because I'm in California. It's like my second home. So while I was in California, I worked for Motown Records and The Pass Entertainment, Dick Clark, and so I've always been blessed to be at the pinnacle of some things, and then know that it was going to be about where I'm at today. But yeah, I when I came back home, in '96, I think it was '97, I wanted to continue in the record business and do some stuff. So I was trying to do, I think it was Super Flea Records or DMAC Records, or I was trying to do something with the entertainment. And in the incubator class, I was putting together a business plan and proposal for the entertainment business versus doing the stuff for the barbecue. And the lady Kathy was in that class with me, and she knew that my family was the McCray's, and she would ask me, "Well, how you keep the meat moist, and how you do this?" And I showed her some things. Then realizing that she took that to heart, how to keep that meat moist once it comes off the grill, you know, and how to cover it and retain the integrity and the moisture in the product. So I didn't know if the people was messing with them or not, but she asked me to do the jerk fest with her, and I was cooking, and we won the jerk fest. You know what I mean? And we got the number one vote. That was at the first jerk festival they had here in West Palm, and so I think her and Bob decided that they didn't want the place no more, the little trailer, and they was moving to Hilton Head, South Carolina. But the reason why they was moving because I didn't know that the city was probably giving them a hard time, but they didn't act like that. I didn't know that the city was on them about anything. So I took the trailer, and I didn't know what I was getting myself into. So I grabbed it. I said, "Yeah, I'll take it. I'll run it. I'll do this and that and whatever." And we signed a little contract, and I gave them monthly payments of X, Y, and Z. They charged me $5,000 for the trailer, and but I didn't know Miss Lee Laughingwell existed. Lee Laughingwell was the city
Well,
manager.
are we going to go down that road?
They need to go down that road. They need to know the truth. And they know
Oh
that Lee
boy.
had a vendetta against me and Addie Green. They teamed up on me. I didn't know I had stepped into the hornet's nest.
Well, they
And
had an agenda, which, by
yeah,
the way, didn't work out.
no,
And didn't the people who you bought the trailer from, didn't they? I think there was a little bit of envy because you were getting so much attention and so
yeah,
much volume, and the business was doing so well till they
mm,
had a little attitude about it. But
yeah,
that's okay.
they started getting a little funky about what was going on, and then this is when Addie Green and Lee was trying to get the highlight to be sold to Lehman Brothers, and I just happened to get the property next door. But when I got there, we crunk up and we saw it so fast. The guys from Pakistan said, Derrick, they trying to buy the property from up under you. They trying to buy the property. They're
Oh
trying to
yeah. I remember that, and the drawings they had and the
right.
plans for the tri-rail station and the plaza, where you were the hold up for the plans because they needed your
What
little parcel
they,
there.
they wanted my parcel because it was a corner piece. It was a frontal piece of property. It was most of the prime piece of property, and they didn't
Right.
expect me to be the person to purchase it. So they was a little upset, Addie and Lee and all them. So they did everything in the world to try to force me off that property. And
I
and
remember.
yeah, and then Don King, they did Don King so bad. So Don was on my side, and he owned the hotline next door. So
Right.
Don said, "You keep fighting them. Don't you stop. I'm with you. Just keep fighting, because I ain't doing nothing. I ain't budging, because I don't like how they did me." And so they tried to force me off the property for that frontal
Uh,
piece of property because they thought Lehman Brothers was going to buy it. So Lehman Brothers had a big bid and everything, and that's when the economic downturn hit in 2000.
2008.
Yeah, 2008.
Mhm.
But before we got there, we had some major successes. So we had the Riviera Beach Jazz Festival that we was a hit
Yeah.
at. That was
Yeah.
our really first successful thing that we did outside of that, that we served, all those people over there with Patty LaBelle and everybody. And we did the little VIP stuff, and the people loved us. And that kind of put us on the map.
Well,
Then,
before that, you did the Super Bowl in Miami before
the
that.
Super
Oh,
Bowl,
that came after.
Super Bowl came after.
Okay.
Super Bowl came right after that because somebody had, I think it was Deidre Jacobs, was one of my good friends at Florida A&M. She had told the Super Bowl host committee, like, hey, y'all looking for the best barbecue. My homeboy, he got the best ribs, probably around here. And
Mhm.
they had tried everything. Then people came and they tried our ribs, and they
The
invited
rest
some
is
people.
history, and 16 years later, you're still
Yeah,
getting invited back.
and y'all, Deidre Jacobs, you got to give her the credit because she the
Oh,
one that
yeah.
some people, and then whoever that guy was, I can't remember who her manager was in the city of West Palm Beach. He co-signed it.
Okay.
He was from
Okay.
somewhere, but he co-signed it. They came up, we did the project for them, and they loved it. And
So, do you wanna, since this is the McCray's Backyard Barbecue and Seafood Super Bowl studio, do you wanna go into and start talking about the first Super Bowl and like, what was on the
yeah,
menu, what you had? We can start that right now. So I'm
yeah,
going to,
we were there.
uh
Yeah, I can't remember. We had so much stuff down there, and we had the there it is. Yeah, we had so
yeah, so this is the first one from 2007 where you had the 2 black head coaches,
yeah,
the
and
Indianapolis Colts and the Chicago Bears.
right, and uh, uh, yes, because we had Devin Hessel, which is my cousin, who ran the first touchdown, and you
Yes.
know, we had an issue with the first one.
Yeah, we're not gonna talk about that. We're gonna let that stay where it is.
Oh my God, that was
But
crazy.
we enjoyed ourselves being there. You can see me on there with my thumb up. That's me.
Yeah,
I participated in the first one. Um, Let me tell you, a lot of work, but the reward is so much greater. Um, Derrick had the best everything there. He not only fed the tailgate party guests, he also fed all of the red jacket volunteers down
that's
there.
right. And that was a
The
few.
other people ran out of food, so
We still had stuff going, and we fed the multitude, and Wayne Huizenga and all those big celebrities. I think Justin Timberlake. We had a lot of everybody that was coming through. They said, "Wow, who is these people?" We took the world by storm that day. You guys did such an amazing job getting that stuff out, and it's like God was with us. When we went out with a smaller army and fed the multitudes of people, and we won all the #1 awards in South Florida from all the newspapers, all the TV stations. The NFL sent us letters of accommodations and things like that, and it was just a long shot.
Yeah, now this picture here, this is from the first Super Bowl. I still have my little badge,
Yeah,
that my linear that you wear around your neck. I
right.
still have mine. And the red jacketed people, those are the volunteers in line waiting to eat at the Super Bowl from McCray's Backyard Barbecue and Seafood.
Yes,
Well, it wasn't seafood back then, it was McCray's too.
yeah,
Backyard
McCray's
barbecue. Mhm.
backyard barbecue during that time, and you see where we was voted the #1 vendor.
Yes, and that's the letter,
Yeah,
that was,
yeah,
submitted from the Super Bowl host committee
yeah,
chairperson, I
yeah.
believe.
That's Rodney Barreto, I think, who that was that wrote that letter of us being the best in the country during that
Yeah.
time. So
Yes.
that was amazing that we got those awards, and I think people tend to forget that we did that, and this is some of the other events that we did right there. That was in
Was that 2010 maybe? I don't know what year that one was.
I think that was the 2010 photos where we did all the beef brisket, the
From
beef
that
brisket
was I
starter.
think that one's Miami as well, I
That was a
think.
Miami one because we did the Fox thing. We was on the Fox
Oh,
business
the business.
show.
Oh, yeah, I
Yeah,
remember
we did
that.
all those things, and we did that. And this is when the year that we met Guy Troop.
Yes.
Who-
Uh-huh.
That's when we started. We're doing the P&E. So we've been doing the P&E. We're doing now for the last 14 years.
Yes.
It's, yeah, yeah. We've
Wow,
been
that's
there in
amazing.
a row with these guys. And
Okay. This was the emerging business,
yeah,
program.
the major business program. Me being, McCray's being the top vendor,
Yeah.
and them talking about our expertise and how well we managed the event, following all the protocols and making sure that we was in budget, staff was impeccable and all those
Right.
things. And they voted me their top vendor,
Right.
and, you
So
know,
it's 16 years now, not 13.
yeah,
So
yeah, that was, yeah, that was, yeah. And this
and then I have oh, there's the little the trailer.
trailer, there it is.
Mhm.
And my
Um
brother came up with that color, Demetrius. I gotta give him. He said, "Man, you painted yellow, it's gonna stick out." I'm
he
like, "Man,
was right.
we said, man, paint it yellow." And when we painted yellow, that was one of the best things we could have did because nobody could never miss it. And we made that yellow famous. We had yellow and
Yes.
brown, and we've evolved now to different colors, but those are our colors.
Those were the colors, yellow and brown.
And now you can see where we've graduated into doing charcuterie tables and a more of a culinary flair at these
Right.
events. With how our presentation is one of the best in the country. We can compete nationally and worldwide with our chefs and our culinary art form. We
Right.
graduated from some of the ribs and started doing other things. That's what allowed us to transition with the lead because we could do more than just do the barbecue ribs and the chicken and stuff. So we
Mhm.
wasn't limited in our expertise and skill set to be able to do something more. And as they asked for more, we was able to provide it. We
Right.
didn't shy away from giving them the best at whatever it was. It wasn't always ribs and chicken. We've done a variety of different things to keep them engaged and intrigued about the depth of what we can go to as a black-owned restaurant, and being a 5-star black-owned
Right.
restaurant. We could do whatever the breakers and anybody else could do. And then I think this was this New York. This was in New York.
Mhm.
I believe it was in New York with this. And these some of the 5-star events that we did with the P&E. This was in Harlem when they did that. When we did that one with some of the ice sculptures and some of the different things that we we've done has been amazing stuff. And then I have to give a big shout out to Chef Christina, who's been by my side with this for the last 13 years or so.
Oh
She's
yes.
everywhere I go, and she's here with me now. So we've had a great partnership when it comes to uh, us setting this thing up, and we work so well together with our team. And she's been such a leading force and some of my creativity and things that I want to do and helping me bring these things to life. So I got to always give
Shout
Chef
out to
Dixon
Christina.
Wells, that's Will's wife.
Yeah,
We
well,
got
he's been with you. They even had the baby
yeah,
on
yeah.
one of those Super Bowl
I think
trips.
he went with us to San Francisco with the baby.
Yeah,
She was just born,
right.
and
That was the
little
50th
god
Super
baby,
Bowl.
my little god baby Alexis. She's such a beautiful young lady now, and yeah. And I think this was in Houston, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we did this one in Houston. We had a great staff, there, and it came out and they love us there. So we've always done some great work when we're on the road. It's always first class.
Right. It's
This
not
is in,
just
this
ribs
is in
and
Atlanta. This is in Atlanta, and that's Chef Christina all the way to your
to
far
the far right.
the
Yes.
far right, and then
Mm-hmm.
that's Shayla Crayla
Mm-hmm.
and the other Shayla, and we want to give condolences to our girl Shayla. She's in the back left corner, right behind me, and she
Yes.
passed away this year. And cancer is a bitch, and
Yeah.
she fought a gallant, hard fight with breast cancer, and she was such a beautiful person, such a beautiful soul, and
Yeah.
we just want to give her shots out because she did such an amazing job for us in Atlanta when we was there, So she just did great, and I just so much kudos go out to her. It's
Yeah.
Chakayla Montgomery.
Yes. Rest in peace.
Yes, and
Okay.
these are some of the events that I had to speak at as an ambassador for the NFL, when it comes to the Business Connect program, the Emerging Business program, because we did so much. So I'm able to now be one of the people that they go to speak to new potential vendors and different execs about how the business goes and what we do as one of the top vendors for the NFL. So they
Mhm.
always calling me to do stuff, and we have various speaking engagements and different things that we do uh, for them. When they need me to go to Tampa, go different places, I show up and I speak, and I'll give them my experience, strength, and hope with with my NFL experience.
Mhm. This was the first picture that the Palm Beach Post posted of
Yes,
you
that
in
was the first,
2007.
that was the first one, 2007. I got more gray hairs now. Yeah,
CNN did they
yeah.
had you on to talk about the 100 places to eat like a local.
And
And
then
what's his name? Victor Blackwell.
yeah,
He was an
but this is
anchor.
yeah, he's the anchor now on CNN,
Yeah,
but
he's on CNN.
this is the top 100 places in the world.
Yes, top 100 in the world. Yes.
And we were number 5 in the world
Yes.
when we did this. So people don't understand, how much we've done and where we've been with this and how we've grown, over the years and some of the stretches of some of the things that we've done to be world renowned. You know what I mean?
Yes.
This is one of the things that made us world renowned is these events like this and being,
Mhm. And
being,
so, moving on, some of the newspaper articles,
yeah,
you've been in so many different
yeah,
newspapers,
yes.
too many to name, and we thank all of those reporters and writers
Mm,
who did stories on you, such as uh, um, what is her name, Daphne.
yeah, Daphne Taylor's done a
Yeah,
lot.
Daphne Taylor. Yes,
Palm Coast, the Sun Sentinel, all the local TV stations. We've been their local pit master, especially during those barbecue holidays like
yeah,
the Super Bowl days, the Memorial, 4th of July, and Labor Day, big barbecue weekends, and we do all the safety tips and different things for them. And this is when we had our grand opening
yes.
Yeah.
That was quite the event. I
Yeah,
mean, people
it
were
was,
talking about that for a long, long time.
yeah, that was a beautiful event. And these are some of the things, I remember this little girl when they took
Mhm.
this picture in front of the shack back in the days. This is, I think I was lifting up something for that rib for one of the news stations that we took that. And then
Mhm.
I heard,
That was Sun Sentinel there for the newspaper, that one.
right, I think I remember that. I also remember how we had those ribs stacked and just the look of the succulent flavor and how we put that together. That bottom picture with those maybe 5 to 6 or 7 slabs of ribs was an amazing thing, and that shows a lot of quality control that we had. Most people didn't know because see, we don't cook with charcoal or gas. We cook with wood only.
Only
That's
wood,
what
yes.
puts us in another class of art form. And see, I
Yeah.
don't always talk about this being we just out here grilling. No, this is an art form. We take this just like Picasso. And I take
Right.
it the same way. I'm with President Biden right there, who
Mhm.
loves McCray's. He's been a fan of McCray's since Barack Obama.
Yeah.
Bill Clinton, and all those guys have eaten McCray's backyard barbecue and seafood. The great Mike Dicker to the bottom there, and my godfather right there, Larry Little, and Ricky Jackson, our hometown hero from Pahokee, who played for the New Orleans Saints. Both of them are Hall of Fame football players, and we've done a lot of work for those guys. So, we've had some really, really rich history dealing with a lot of these people that, that loves us, you know what I mean? And like I said, even the Trump people have reached out, but we could never do nothing for them. It just never really worked out. And I'm not, uh,
Well, you've always said that barbecue is an American
right.
food and it
So
brings
at
people
least they,
together.
they did reach out, but I think the politics and the different things, how things were going, it was probably better that we just didn't where we were with that. It was just too much conflict, and I don't like all that kind of stuff. But at least they have reached out, before, and then you see the great Julius Irving. That's my
Mhm.
man. Julius loved McCray's backyard barbecue and seafood. He's one of our most favorite people. When it comes to this, he loves it, especially when we're in Atlanta and different places. So, and again, you see our amazing staff: Chef Christina, Shayla, Krayla, and Chakayla up top, and myself there.
Mhm.
So we had some things, and that's when I'm winning a lot of trophies with the real roundup.
I remember oh my gosh, they had as many people as the Super Bowl almost. That was a lot of work.
We did a lot of work, but it was fun. But we brought the trophies home that you can see.
Yeah, you won a red roundup. Yes. Well, and will you be doing it again this year, right?
Yeah, we're supposed to be.
Mhm.
We talking about. I'm just so concerned about the COVID thing and things that we
Yeah.
had to do. You know what I mean? So it's a little different now.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. Oh wow. This is one of my favorite
Yeah, I
pictures of
remember
this
that little
girl.
that was so amazing. She loved McCrae. I bet she's a big girl now. And
Mhm.
that was an amazing photo of her with those with the sauce all over and her smiling like the best she's ever had.
Yeah.
And like I said, we've had some really, really great times, and it's been beautiful. I think I see Gerald right there, Gerald Wright.
Yeah, Gerald. Suzanne Boyd loves
Oh,
Derrick
yeah.
and McCray's backyard barbecue.
Susan is like my sister. We so close. That's my girl. She's an anchor used to be the anchor of WPEC, CBS, and she loves McCray. And that's one of our most favorite people. I think that's Sandy up top.
Yeah, that's Sandy. And
Sandy,
this article was in, I think Def Jam had a magazine
yes.
back then, and you were in that magazine that came
Yes,
out.
yes, yes. You bringing back a lot of memories there, right here. And this is always up, and that's Sean Paul, the
He's a
Jamaican super
reggae artist, I think.
reggae artist, yeah. And then that's Miss Wangler. That's John Wangler's daughter with the 16 jersey on. That's when we was in Michigan.
Okay.
And I'm trying to see that other photo.
That's Suzanne and Eric Roby at your grand opening on the
Okay, yeah,
bottom right.
right? And the top one, I think we were doing the ESPN
Yeah.
game.
College
Yeah,
game day or
yeah,
something
up
like
in
that.
Michigan. That was the University of Michigan and Ohio State game that we did, and those guys was from the ESPN broadcast team,
Mm-hmm.
and
And
then
holy smokers.
Holy Smokers, I was the lead judge, the co-host on that show, uh, and it was that really helped us get on the map and was able to really learn TV that I didn't ever think that was TV ready, but that was a really interesting show. I actually went back and looked at it the other day, and
I liked it, especially
it
when they
was,
when
it
they were cooking the squirrel and then they came out with some
was
cakes.
squirrel kebabs. I'm like, what? Squirrel kebabs? Man,
Did you actually eat it? That's
I
what I
did.
want to know.
I ate it. I ate it. You know what I mean? Because that was my job as the judge to be able to taste these country cuisines during that time, and I did that.
Wait, let's let the people know they actually went out and shot the
They got
squirrel.
the squirrels right there on the show. I was, they came back and we was in the same area where they shot them squirrels. Because I had to do my little segment by myself talking about what we was doing X, Y, and Z. And shoot, they pulled up, went out in the woods, and bring back 4, 5, or 6 squirrels, cleaned
Yeah,
them.
they
Yeah,
had what was that? Peach,
they had
pizza
some type.
preserve and
Yeah,
cake.
the cake was good. I don't know the cake. Well, they see, and they cheated on the cake because they had a certain amount of time to get the cake done. When the cake was already ready when they got there, like, and then got, well, how you get this cake done so fast? And well, they started coming up with all kind of lies and stuff. But anyway, they still won that part of the competition.
Yeah. It was a great experience and it was so cool, the other pictures that you shared of being there, the way they put everything together, the people who came in and taste tested and
Yeah,
it was some of it was humorous from the guys who had the scroll. That was funny.
yeah. But it was a really fun show. It was a great experience for me, and that thing. So, but yeah, and what's the next one
So
there? Yeah, these are some of
that
the
was from the last Super Bowl,
yeah,
but what I want to go into is how you came from you had everything that you went through, you had the shack, and then blood, sweat, and tears. Thank God for all these years. You
yeah,
have a beautiful building with
yes,
a drive-through.
yeah,
By the way, where you
yeah.
can walk up, you
Walk
can
up, drive
drive
through.
through, you can get your food, you can
Yeah,
sit out there. You have flat screen TVs where people can eat. And then
and
you have this big, giant, what I call a bay window, this big, beautiful window where
yeah,
you can look through and see the gentleman back there cooking the
yeah.
ribs, turning them.
Because people think because you've grown a little bit that you change your technique in cooking, but I want everybody to know that the technique is a lot better now because it's a more controlled atmosphere
Right.
that we can control the temperatures and do stuff, and we still open pit grill it, without the hazards of the weather and weather conditions and things like that. We was out there in the rain, the sleet, the snow, the heat,
Yeah, the
you know,
cold.
cold, fighting off birds and all kind of stuff, and
Yeah.
trying to get to where we at. So we went through uh, a great transition from that to here, and and I always wanted to protect the sanctity and the integrity of our art form. That's why I put that window though, so people won't think that we've changed because we got a
I
new
love
building.
it.
You know how people are in this area, they think, oh, he think he's doing this or doing that because no. What we're trying
No.
to do is give you a much better product, and we're trying to get better. We're not perfect. We haven't been totally perfect, but we're certainly better than what we was because now we could do it in a more professional setting and make sure. So, and God has a funny way of blessing and elevating you to that next level if you true to what you do. You know what I mean?
Right. And when we had the trailer, the yellow trailer, and then the grills in the back, especially on Friday and Saturday night, people will always go back there to
Yeah.
watch the ribs being turned. Some, sit at the table or pull up a chair or bring their own chair, talk
And
to the
see,
people in the back. And it was a great experience. I'm really glad that you allow your longtime customers to be able to experience that and new ones to see the process and how your products are made.
Right, because we don't have nothing to hide. That's why we open and we face a lot more criticism than most people because we don't have much to hide. It's if we're gonna be the best, then we need to be transparent enough to be able to let people see what we do and be confident in it. My father was a great orator, and he would come up with all kind of statements and things like that. And his favorite thing, we let you try before you buy.
Right.
So that's his thing. So we let people try because he was so confident in his product that he's gonna let you try it. Huh? You can try this. We're not gonna tell you can't get a piece or a sample of what you're getting. Now, the genius behind it is they was coming to get a real sandwich. Once they taste that thing, now they want a pound or a slab.
Right.
The dollars that went up. So he was on to something that we didn't really think about until like, whoa, that's why you did it, huh? That yeah, because when they taste it, they're gonna want to buy more. They ain't gonna just sit here and just want that one sandwich. They're gonna want some more because you done gave them to them, and then here we go. You know what I mean? So that he was a genius when it came to marketing and with ideas and strategies and different things and to the art form. So I have to give him the credit for what I'm doing now. Because it really he imparted a lot of that stuff into me as a kid and
Mhm.
as a young adult, but then more. And when I got into my 30s is when I took off with this business. You know what I mean?
Right. So
And
let's move forward with your menu. So, we know about the backyard barbecue part. We know about the ribs and the chicken and all of that. That looks so good right there. But then I heard you start talking in recent years about Floridian. So, am I pronouncing that correctly, or is it Floridian? Floridian?
Caribbean, this is how you can say Caribbean or Caribbean. You can say all those different things.
Man,
You
look at
know,
that plate right there. That
that's the
oh
seafood
boy.
platter with your crack conch, your conch fritters, your shrimp,
Ooh,
conch salad on there. And with some garnishes and different things. But that comes from my father and mother. You remember when you go back when I was telling you, my mother was cooking some seafood, my dad was barbecue.
right.
They was doing the shrimp fried rice. So this is a fusion of both of them come along. And my father, because he was a great seafood man, also with being a barbecue guy. My mother's uh, uh, guardian father, Jack Newman, was from the Bahamas. So
Okay.
they ate a lot of Bahamian food when she was coming up as a young lady. And then we remember the old conch shell. Back
Yes, I remember. Yes.
we ate a lot of food from the conch shell as a little boy, the pickled peas and rice and the different things like that. And that also had some influence on my dad and mom, on the menu that we have now. See, we had that stuff at 2717 Old Dixie Highway. We had the
Right.
seafood, we had the fish, the shrimp, you know. We didn't do much crack conch and all those things then, but I added it in because we would make conch salad and do stuff, but my daddy wasn't really selling it. But then I just took on the responsibility saying we need to add this to the menu because crack conch was they did such a good job with it, but they just didn't sell it But
Right.
I really incorporated that into the menu to enhance the Floridian flavor. Um,
Well, all I know is the fish sandwich is off the chain.
yeah, and we only
Red
use,
snapper.
and the thing about it is the supply has been so hard, but we've been able to keep up with it. And then
Yes.
if we don't use snapper, then we find a good perch or something that we can use. No
Right.
tilapia or none of that kind of stuff. I don't
No.
like that kind of fish because I
No.
don't even want to cheat my customer with the flavor or the taste. But we really are snapper. We use that red snapper as our signature fish that we use at McCray's all the time. You know what I mean?
Right. And
So
I forgot the pork chop. I meant to get a picture of the pork chop. I forgot to put that on there because you do
yeah,
have the pork chop. And then this food you could get it with the fish and fries, pork chop and fries, or you can get it as a dinner,
right,
with the two side peas and rice and all of that kind of stuff. It is, let me tell you, very, 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 very good.
right.
Very good. The
So
fish is my thing. I love it.
that fish is awesome.
So coming up to Sunday,
Hmm.
Super Bowl Sunday, we want everybody to come out to McCray's Backyard Barbecue and Seafood because we are going to have everything on the menu there. You can
Yes.
drive through, you can walk up, you can sit out there and eat. All of the flat screen TVs will be on the game.
Or you can call ahead too. You can call our catering hotline, which is
Yeah.
561-255-0223. We like you to call at least by Saturday, and Miss Linda will try to take care of you and get you on that on a work order in for you. So that's that. Or if you just want to order at the shop, that number is 561-370-3216.
Mhm.
So we have, and then you can also go to our website and see things. That's McCray's BBQ.com to check us out. And we also have delivery. That's what Uber Eats, Grubhub, Delivery.com, and DoorDash.
Right. Okay.
Hmm.
So as we get ready to wrap up here, what has your experience been like since you've been over in LA, since you got there?
It's been great. Today was a day of exploration. We were setting up. We wanted to make sure that we had a test kitchen. Our kitchen together. Uh, and we got that settled. We worked on our menu. We worked with Guy Troop at the Embassy Suite to make sure that we had our different areas covered. That way, we have staging area 1, staging area 2, because it's going to be a full day of events. The first portion from I think from 1 to 4 is going to be a charcuterie table. That second portion of the day is going to be the cocktail hour. We're going to have some more pretty heavy foods with the ribs, the baked beans, potatoes. No, I'm sorry, ribs, baked beans, coleslaw, mac and cheese, rolls, and some other stuff. We're going to have that in the second half going down the stretch. And what else? And then we're preparing for the different interviews that we got. Kelly Clarkson.
Oh,
We're doing
awesome.
the national. We're doing the national Black. What's that? The news network, the new news channel. The what's that? BNC Black News Channel. We're
Okay.
doing some local stations here, CBS and some other stuff. We were supposed to be doing the talk, but we waiting to hear back the response for sure. We haven't heard from her yet, but sometimes they be
Okay.
with the
So that
stuff.
would be your second appearance on
Yeah,
the talk. I
yeah,
remember you were on
yeah.
there before and gave a great interview.
Right, that'd be our second appearance on here. But we're excited about the Kelly Clarkson show, the Tamron Hall show,
Mhm.
things like that. Our great friend, Miss Mighty. Sometime, we're checking with her, who's over MSNBC. She'll be sending
Oh,
some
Yvette Miley, also of Rivera Beach.
Rare Beach
From
native.
Rivera Beach, yes.
Yeah,
She's
we
the boss over at MSNBC,
she
by
is
the
the
way.
big boss. You can't. I
Yeah.
don't think you can probably just go one step up from her, but she is Miss MSNBC.
Mhm.
And we were close in high school. We was in the Suncoast marching band as freshmen.
Really?
Yeah, we when Carrie and Gary was playing for Coach Sutton, they was in 11th grade.
Okay.
Ninth grade. I
Yeah.
was in the JV, but I marched during the halftime, and she played clarinet and I played drums. So
Right.
close, but we was close before that because we was at John F. Kennedy together, and then elementary school, me and Tosh and all us was together. So we
Mhm.
all grew up as friends.
So
So we
so to bring it home, the hosts that you see, like the Al Sharptons and whatnot on
that's right.
MSNBC,
That's right.
she's their boss.
She's there.
She hired them.
Yeah,
Okay.
she hires all those people that you see there on MSNBC, The Morning Joe. All those people work for her.
Right.
Yes.
And let's explain this charcuterie board table. I mean, I'm sorry. What will you have on there for people who don't know what it is?
The table really is an assortment of different smoked meats and hors d'oeuvres and eclectic type foods that we all assemble together that people can just kind of pick and choose from, like your olives, this, that, some hot
Cheeses, your
cheeses,
hummus,
your
cheese,
hummus, your this,
smoked meats. Okay.
your fruits, your vegetables, and it's set up in a way that has a lot of culinary flair with your flowers, your different yeah, it's something like that. There you go. You're going in the vein of what we're doing. You might need another picture, but I thought I said, yeah, stuff like that. You move around a little bit more. You get in there. how we do that. That's sort of like the charcuterie stuff that we're talking about. The way that they're positioned on the table, the various yes, there you go, with the fruits, the vegetables, the strawberries mixed in, fused in there together with your edible flowers and things like that, and your different garnishes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
beautiful.
And that's what we did for Kendrick Meek and Congressman Claiborne. Uh, when Miss Carrie Meek, Congressman Carrie Meek passed away,
Oh yes, yes.
and they called us to come down and do the actual wake for them, because Kendrick and I played football together at Florida University, so we've been close for
Right.
many years. So we were rattlers and whatnot, and
And I remember him coming by the yellow trailer.
yes,
And actually he was in the back. They were showing him how to turn the meat one time. We do
yeah,
have pictures of that. And
absolutely.
he wanted his ribs hot, like hot, hot.
He's responsible for us doing the Bill Clinton deal. That's
Right.
how we
I
got
remember.
the job doing that for Mr. Clinton, and Mr. Clinton has been a huge fan of us ever
Oh
since.
yes, yes,
Because he
yes.
was in Congress during that time, before he ran against Mark Rubio, for the
Right.
U.S. Senate, and he was there to, he got us along even with Joe Biden and Barack Obama. He was the person responsible for us getting the doors open for some of that stuff, for the presidential stuff. I don't know if you've seen that. Remember that picture with me, Mr. Calloway, uh, and who else was on that with me and Bill Clinton? Oh, Kendrick,
Oh
Bill,
yeah, he was on that Kendrick.
myself, and Mr. Calloway was on that
Yes.
picture. And then Daryl Leonard and my dad. I always wish it was my dad. I don't know why. What I was thinking about that. I missed the picture with Bill Clinton with me and my father there together, because my
Mm,
father was in the wheelchair and Bill was
I
sitting
remember.
in it, and he was saying, I can remember the president saying, "Hey," uh, he said, "Now, Derrick, well, you from Arkansas? You got to be from Arkansas the way these ribs taste." And then I say, "No, Mr. President, we're from West Palm." My daddy said, "No, we've been doing this for years, Mr. President." Da 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 da. And Mr. Calloway kicked in, and then him and Calloway end up being coming through the same area
Mm,
in Arkansas, because Mr. Calloway was in basic training in Arkansas, so they knew some of the same areas. So we had
right.
a great conversation back and forth, and Bill really loved the veterans. So my dad had those great stories of being in the 101 First Airborne Division. So they talking tactical stuff and things, because I ain't never been in the army, but my father, he was a veteran. So
Right.
and Bill and Mr. Calloway had some great conversations, when we were doing the events for them, and the Secret Service guys still come.
Really?
They still come down, and it's been a few years now.
Let
Yes,
me tell you a story about that. So it was Terry Morris and I who actually drove the food down there in the van to
that's right.
where Bill Clinton. So we had to go to the back of the building and back up. So all of the Secret Service guys came out, and I got out and Terry stayed in the van. And they asked what were we doing, and I said, we're here to drop off a catering for the president. And they were like, really? Oh, we'll take this. Oh, it smells so good, this and that. And I was like, Terry, I don't know what they're gonna do with that food, if they're gonna throw it away, if they're gonna eat it. All I want to know is if the president got to eat. So when we went to the it wasn't a rally, it's sort of kind of like a Democratic meeting where he came out to talk
Well,
to the
yeah, well,
people. He
yeah,
came out chewing. He
yes,
came out chewing.
he had to ate the rib,
He-
trying to change his teeth, because it was in Boynton or wherever it was at, and he was doing the rally for because we was running, it was for Barack Obama.
Right, that's what it
It
was,
was
and he
for
came out, he
Yeah,
was sticking his finger in the back of his
yeah,
teeth,
it was for
trying to pick
Barack.
ribs out.
Yeah, because Barack wanted to get ribs and do some stuff, but they kept changing his route and whatnot for Secret Service, because people were trying to say who was
Right,
killing, things like that. So they had to protect when they hear different threats. So but Barack always was one of our favorite fans, because Joe Biden was our fan. So
right.
they was close, and they loved us to this day. You know what I mean? but yeah, that's what that was, man. And
I
we
was so nervous when I backed that van up to the building and all of them came out. I was like,
yeah, it was serious.
okay, they are
People,
not playing
they,
around at
they,
all.
they be dead serious about it. But then
Yeah.
we won their hearts over because when Bill left, when his first crew that was with him, they ate first, and the ones
Yes.
that behind, well, they tore that food up.
Yes, they did.
We got to wait till the president leave before we could eat. We could wait till he go. But as soon as he hit it, boy, they
Yep.
building the ribs and everything, man. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, we've had some really great experiences at McCray's Backyard Barbecue, man. And it's been an amazing journey. Started with $100 in the grill to getting where we're at now. We're working on our franchising deal. Trying to get 100 stores. Because I think it's now time to level up again. We don't
Yeah.
want to be just satisfied with one location. I think that we've passed, some of the tests of time. We're working on a lot of strategy, policy, and how we could take America by storm for real. You know what I mean? We already knew we had it in us, but now I think it's ascertainable for us to do this. So we're definitely working on some serious franchising things. I got the contract here, at home, back in West, back at the shop, and
Right.
we plan on getting into that in the next week or so. So, I got a great GM and who I brought on, Stuart, coach who's great. He's has a lot of expertise in the field, in the restaurant field, and I just believe that he's going to be so helpful as pulling uh, our this project together. We're getting this thing, our policies, procedures, and everything. So we're excited about this next step that we're getting ready to take.
I'm so happy for you, Derek. I'm very proud of you. You always know I got your back. I'm not as available as I used to be, but I do what I can. We're gonna push this barbecue headquarters, Super Bowl barbecue headquarters all weekend long. So Sunday, what's the hours for Sunday?
All day.
Okay, 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Because I
No,
remember at
open
the
up.
Memorial Day thing, people started coming at 6 and 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, but we gotta open up like we're supposed to open up at 11, but I think we'll open up at 10 because a lot of pre-orders and different things be going on, and we'll
Right,
try to stay open as late as we can because I try to let my staff go right before the Super Bowl and
right.
whatnot so that they can go watch with their families and be a part of what's going on.
All
Uh,
right.
but we'll be there all day, and we're thankful. We love you, Deborah. You like my sister, so
Of course.
you know that. So we're excited about this next journey in life. We just pray to the Father in heaven that He continues to bless us, that
He
He
will.
bless the business and bless me to be a better person and a better manager, a better owner, a better CEO, and
It'll come. It will come.
the
It will
things
go. You've come you
I see.
listen, you've come a long way from where you were outside of a business cooking to have a business where you have an office, you have a
Mhm.
staff and a drive-through. Okay, it's
We
nice, and
find
I'm
out what
very proud of you for hanging in there. And I've seen people do a lot of dirty things to you, but you hung in there and you didn't give up, and that's why I'm most proud of you for where you are now. And the NFL, the brand, they aren't just going to call just anybody, not somebody who's just going to set up a grill and just throw some ribs and chicken out and let the people eat. They want the best of the
that's right.
best because
That's
the
right.
best of the best around the world are there
That's
for
right.
that game. And so
Absolutely.
they always call the best because they know that you have a plan, you're professional, and your strategy is first class. And
Yeah.
I've seen it up front and personal. So thank you, Derek,
Thank
for
you.
spending time with me.
Yeah. Well,
I am so
hey,
honored.
listen, we can't forget our humble beginnings because you was with me when nobody else was with me.
I
When
was right
nobody
there.
else was, we was doing this together. We was, we was in here in the fight in the very beginning. So I'm honored to do this. So I tell you, whenever you was ready, you tell me when because I appreciate that because we can never forget where we come from, the people that's been there with us in the beginning. Sometimes people
Okay.
get the big head. No, keep me a lowly spirit. Let me not forget my people that helped me get where I'm going and help me
Right.
along the way. You know what I mean? And that's what's important to me, that especially my African American roots. That's really important to me, that that we change our way of thinking and our behavior in our community, how we look at black businesses, and that it's not an easy task dealing with folks and trying to be the best we could be, and understand that
Yes.
we're not perfect, but we're striving for perfection. That's what we're looking for, the high calling, which is in Jesus Christ. So those who don't know, you need to read the word in Paul. That's what we do. We strive to be the best. And then those, he also says, I don't want to really start preaching, but I got to say this, that we all fall short of his glory, and we'll fit the rags in his sight. So if any of us think we're better than the next person, then something's wrong with you, because that's not it. Because we serve a great God that said, ain't none of us right.
Right. And you know what? I forgot to mention the book bag giveaway, and how it
Yeah, yeah,
started and how it is still going.
yes, yes,
And, and shout out to Christina and her husband,
yeah, well,
William, for continuing that legacy for all these years to
yeah,
give out the book bag, school supplies. They do the haircuts now. Well, but like you said, humble beginnings. Mr. Richard Riles sponsored the book
yes,
bags. I think the second book bag
yes,
giveaway he sponsored.
yeah, Richard,
You did the first one,
mhm.
and so thank you, Mr. Riles, for
and, and
helping to keep that going.
Yeah, and then I want to give a shout out to the Youth Recreation Association, because
Yes,
when we first started, we gave out all those scholarships. We
yes,
started the Otis Anderson Scholarship Fund.
yes.
Then
I
we
remember.
started, when we went to our first Super Bowl. Now we got the Herman and Lillian McCray's Foundation scholarships that we do in honor of my dad and my mom. Of giving things out. So we always been there. And we want to give Mr. Calloway also. I got to give him a
Yes,
big shout.
sir.
He's been very, very supportive of McCray's from day one, and he's retired. I'm the president of the Youth Recreation Association, so we're trying to keep his legacy and his dream alive also, by
Yes,
making sure that we're helping these kids in education, sports, and helping the least, the lost, and the left out, and helping
right.
the elderly. So that's
Yes,
what our call is, to make sure that we're there for our people in this community, while we're striving for to be as successful as we can. So we can't forget, where we come from, and helping people and doing what we do. And that's a part of who my father and mother was. They was big, big advocates for helping the least, the lost, and the left out. So
right. And we also want to thank your family, Demetrius, Herman,
yeah,
your nieces and nephews, Renadia, Deja, everybody.
yeah. And
Um,
David is the one directing and coordinating this particular segment, and doing the stuff with the media. She's my new media relations person, that's been helping us put together this stuff. So all this stuff will go into the edit file of Cooking with McCray's. So we putting together a little thing. She's putting together our hair chronological and journaling what we're doing on the road. So when we get back, she'll edit it and put it together and put it out. I want to get her going, because she has a degree in production and film and TV. So this is
yes, I've
her.
seen her work. It's very good.
Yeah.
Deja, I'm looking forward to what you're putting together for your Uncle Derrick.
Hmm. Yeah. So we doing some things. We trying to get there. And like I said, it's been a long time coming, but I'm thankful. I'm blessed. I'm here. We didn't give up when we can't have gave up, and I thank God for the magna fortitude to keep going when it was rough. You know, I tell some people I feel like I was I've been in 12 years of slavery.
You're about right. What were we calling that
Oh,
place?
man,
We used to call it the funny farm.
yeah, or
Every day it was
yeah,
something.
or some of the experiences of Job. I'm like, but then God so faithful and just to continue to bless us as we still seek Him. Because if Jesus Christ had to carry that cross, our
Yeah.
cross cannot even compare to what He had to do. It's a minimal cross, So just getting through it and enduring it like Jesus did, it saved the world. So whatever our little cross is, and we bear it, and we reap the rewards, the spiritual rewards of it, and everything that's come along, because we endured what the test.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, Derek, that's a perfect way to end our interview. Thank you for taking over South Florida Gospel News Radio and turning it into McCray's Backyard Barbecue and Seafood Super Bowl Studio.
Yeah,
Again,
absolutely.
super proud of you. All the best to you and your staff there. And then check out Derrick on his social media platforms. McCray's Backyard Barbecue does have Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Please follow, like, and subscribe to his social media platforms. And you can find Derrick on Facebook under Derrick Marcel McCray. You look for that, or you could look for, I'm not going to give out your email, but look for Derrick, Derrick Marcel
Mhm.
McCray on
Mhm. I
Facebook.
think I think Instagram is McCray's underscore Bible. Well, you put that
It's McCray's underscore backyard underscore BBQ.
right.
And then YouTube, you could just, if you just put in McCray's or put in McCray's BBQ, it's going to pull up all of those. There are some videos that I was looking at today that I forgot about. You know, Memorial Day, 4th of July headquarters, all of that good stuff. Um, I don't want to mention it, but that very first video on the very first day that you open, when you say we're gonna check our chicken on the grill,
Oh yeah.
that's on there.
Mhm.
But you know, great memories, and also the video with oh gosh, what is the guy who had the breakfast, the breakfast in the morning truck. He had the restaurant in Lake Park. Oh my gosh, I can't call his name.
Oh, you talk about Pritchard.
Yeah, Mr. Pritchard and Mr. Calloway and your dad.
Callaway, yeah, that was great. I was looking at that the other day, and it brought back so many memories.
Yeah, those videos are
Callaway
in there
talking
as
about the
well.
chickens, and my dad talking about the train and all those things. And Pritchard trying to be, he was being the rib doctor at that time.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I remember that.
yeah.
Yeah.
All
So
right. So we're going to close out now. I will leave everyone with a picture of McCray's Backyard Barbecue and Seafood. Derrick, thank you again. And we're going to close out with a wonderful video that was shown on WPTV a couple of days ago, where Derrick had an interview with Shannon Cake, one of the anchors at WPTV, and talks about his 16 trips to the Super Bowl and what McCray's Backyard Barbecue and Seafood will be doing over in Los Angeles. Okay. So thank you, everyone. Please like this presentation, like the video, and share it continuously. I appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in and hanging out with us. Derrick, I'll be in touch with you. See you later.
Live. And South Florida, let me tell you, going to be well represented in the Super Bowl food scene. McCray's Backyard Barbecue and Seafood headed to the big game for the 16th year in a row. My producer's pointing out, Derrick, that is a better record than Tom Brady.
Yes.
Derrick McCray,
yes.
owner of McCray's Barbecue and Seafood now.
Yes,
Congratulations on
thank
that.
you.
I got to try out
Thank
the
you.
seafood. Hey, 16 years never gets old, right?
No, it never gets old.
Going to the Super Bowl.
No, we enjoy it every year. It's a
Right.
different experience. It's always elating, and we're always humbled
Sure, of
by
course.
being invited to participate.
How did it happen the first time? How did you get invited the
Actually,
very first time?
it was like a Cinderella story. They was looking for the best barbecue in South Florida. This was at in Miami in 2006, 2007.
Sure.
And somebody said, it's a little barbecue place on 45th and West Palm. You need to go check it out. And I didn't know all these execs and people was coming by checking us out.
Wow.
And
You had no idea. They were secret shopping.
Secret shopping. And they said, well, this is the best barbecue. And they had us to do a little event. And then, boom, they ushered us in like a first-round draft pick.
And you've been there ever since. They've never traded you.
They never traded.
Okay, hey, tell me this. First of all, I want to get to what you're planning to make when you're out there. But will you be a vendor outside the stadium, inside the stadium, feeding celebrities, teams? How's it working?
Well, actually, what we're doing is the player networking event, which will have celebrities, dignitaries, and people coming to help transitioning players seek other opportunities outside of football.
Wow.
They'll be presenting their businesses. They'll be talking about broadcasting opportunities, those type of things. And they showcase McCray's there because all the players and execs want McCray's barbecue there to feed them. So this is an outside sanctioned event for the NFL.
So what are you taking? Are you taking all this?
Yes, we're doing this, but we're going to do something a little different. You know, we're going to have our traditional pulled pork, our chicken, our ribs, and our fruits, and our mac and cheese and baked beans and our normal. But we're going to do a charcuterie table this year.
Oh,
it's going to be something to add to our culinary flair, so people can pick and choose and get little stuff, and it's going to be really, really nice.
That helps too, as you mentioned, with the COVID situation.
It helps us with the COVID.
Just little
bites of this and that,
and
and we can, you know, meet the CDC standards and the NFL protocol stuff. So
that's so very important.
Yes.
We're so proud of you. You're
you.
our hometown hero, and you go and represent us so well every year. Tell us really quickly, for our audience who doesn't know, they don't know where to find you. Where can they find you a day in and a day out once you get back from the Mexico?
Once I get back, before we're at 1521 45th Street. That's in Mangonia Park, actually West Palm, you know, right off of 95.
Some of the best barbecue in the country, and now seafood too.
Yes.
And I'm excited about that.
Our Floridian flavor.
You leave tomorrow?
Yes, we leave tomorrow.
All right.
And we'll be back next week. So we got a week of special events and things that we'll be doing outside of the P&E, you know, some interviews with some special people, and we're excited. We're excited. We're really excited. It's like we're making the circuit.
Yeah, well,
the
you
national
sure are.
circuit.
You sure are. 16 years running.
Yes.
We're so proud of you. I'm very serious. You are a true hero, hometown. You do so much good for folks. I know no business has gone unscathed for the last 2 years. You're no exception. We're so glad you're here.
Right.
You guys, you know, you thrived. You moved right through the pandemic, and you're still standing. We're so proud of you.
Yes.
Safe travels.
Thank you.
We'll see you when you get back.
Yes.
We're going to turn it over to Steve and Weather, but I'm going to get starting to eat, because when it leaves the studio, it disappears. Steve?
Right.
Make sure there's some for me, please. Look at that.
Yeah, I'll make you a plate.
Yeah, congratulations for all your success. That's fantastic. Weather-wise, folks, here is...
Okay.